Welcome back. Before we continue the conversation on transportation, let's bring this breaking news. The federal government has finally released the interim report on funds and assets recovered from individuals who looted the nation's treasury. According to the statement from the Office of the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the total cash recovery has come to the sum of 78.3 billion naira, 185 million.1 US dollars, 3.5 million pounds, and 11,000 euros from the 29th of May 2015 to the 25th of May 2016. I'm sure we'll get more details of that subsequently, but you can also check out our website. It should be on our website. That's channelstv.com. All right, let's come back and talk about transportation. I love this bit. Because, why do I love this bit? Why are you smiling?
No, I'm smiling at the guest.
Okay.
Who's going to be talking about transportation.
Well, Aleo had to journey from Lagos to Benin by road. And we talked about it earlier. The journey from Lagos to Ore wasn't a funny one, but it was more conducive from Ore to Benin road network. The kind of vehicles on the road, that's another subject altogether. We talked about road habits, people on the phone, accidents. We talked about manners on the road, road etiquette. We'll talk about that in one of our segments one of these days. But beyond all of that, our earlier guest talked about transporting petroleum products from one part of the country to the other part where it's required. In Nigeria, it's done on road. In other climes, it's done via rail, and he's suggesting rail. We talked about the Calabar-Lagos rail system. What's the situation? Is it in the budget? Is it not in the budget? But all in all, we want to talk about a viable transportation system in Nigeria, blessed with land, blessed with air, blessed with water. How do we...
Blessed with human resources as well.
Blessed with human resources. So how do we tie these four resources together to create a viable transport system? A sustainable development issue as well. So to help us talk about this, we have, I called him Professor, but he's here. So let me add that Professor again, if you will take it. Professor Kayode Okpeifa, who's the former Commissioner of Transport, Lagos. Thank you for coming.
Professor of Transportation.
Oh, Professor of Transportation. Thank you for coming.
Good morning.
Also here is Mr. Ola Oresonya, the former Managing Director of Loma. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You might say you're not a transport person, but you drive.
Exactly.
And you move around. So you have your idea.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me begin with you, Mr. Okpeifa. Describe the nation's transport system.
Thank you very much. The transport system in Nigeria is developing and is already overwhelmed. It's not sustainable as at present, but it could be made sustainable. It's also impacting on the cost of living. Is a factor when you talk of quality of life of Nigerians, and is a huge factor in our economic status, that is poverty and hunger, and is one sector that, if handled seriously, can take a lot of Nigerians out of poverty, can increase life expectancy, can increase the quality of life, and can hit, in fact, I'm not going to say can hit, that it is the main issue after power that Nigeria need to fix in order to get to industrialization and diversification.
When you say this is one that Nigeria needs to fix in order to get to that state we're looking for, is a diversified socioeconomic space, what do we need to fix?
Okay. We need to understand what is transportation. Generally, you say it's the movement of people, goods, services. That's general, but that's not it.
Okay.
It is more of the management of the flow of these factors. I would put it as the spatial management of factors of mobility related to production. That is the combination of...
Now you're getting sublime.
I want you to understand what is transportation.
Yes.
Now,
come down to our level.
When I say spatial management. I'm taking into environment. I'm taking into physical planning. I'm taking into education. I'm taking into survival. Now, when I say factors of mobility related to production, I'm not relating it to men, the people, machines, the equipments, and the resources. So it is when you have brought all those factors together. Somebody mentioned, they just discussed Niger Delta. If you discuss production of oil, you don't discuss how to move the oil from one point to the other. You're joking. And for me, it is not by rail. It is by pipeline. More by pipeline. Now, when you talk about...
but if you have hotheads who are blowing up your pipelines on a daily basis...
We'll get to that. But that's the normal thing. If they blow pipeline, anybody who blew pipeline 6 feet under the ground does not need anything else to do. It will easily blow your rail line. So just put it that way. But when you go to mining, you need to take ore from Itakpe to Alaja. You put your production site in Alaja. The source of the raw material is in Itakpe. How do you move it? You now have to, how do people who want to work in Alaja, Itakpe, how do they get to work? You want to do farmland.
Political considerations that don't make any sense.
I'm trying to give you the explanation of spatial management. You want to get to work. You need people to get out of hunger. Number one of the Sustainable Development Goal, and including number 2, getting out of poverty. You need to link people to job. You need to take products from the farm to the market and to the people. You need to sustain international trade. The world is now a single village. What do you need to do? You need to create the management of that mobility. It's critical. So it is not just moving people from one point. I move by Danfo, and I move by the BRT bus that is air conditioned on a dedicated lane that is moving more people, emitting less greenhouse gases. It's different from moving me by Danfo, just polluting the atmosphere. I'm tired, I'm sweating, my quality of life is so. Transportation should not just be looked from the point of moving people from one point to the other. It should now be viewed seriously from the management of the flow process, the spatial management. I want to build an estate. It is not enough for you to build an Otedola estate when there is no public transportation access to Otedola. I move away from that. In Lagos, we're now building roads with pedestrian bridges, pedestrian walkway, and the bicycle lanes. That is what you call transportation. So transportation in modern terms is tied to sustainable development. Transportation will determine where people live. It will determine where industries are located. That's why they're all coming to Lagos at some point. Because during the military era, they were building the bridges, creating the infrastructure. If you look at the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, at least about 10 has transportation as a major factor for their success. So transportation, as I said, is one area we need to fix. It's not normal for me to live in Eweko Rainfall, and I'm working in Victoria Island, and I have to move by Danfo, then from Danfo to Keke Napep to Okada. No, I should be able to sit in the train. And within 1 hour, I'm at work. I can take a nap.
Or you can sit in the boat.
So a transportation must be sustainable. It must be safe, affordable, reliable. Most importantly, it must be sustainable. Not just building roads. When you build roads, the roads must be safe. Not the one you have on Mokwa, Mobile.